That's right. We're taking a look at Nebraska by Bruce Springsteen, specifically the new deluxe edition, Nebraska 82, I think is what they're calling this, in which we get a look at things that were, things that have been recorded live, and things that really could have been. Starting this off, let's talk about the fact that I am a big fan of the original album and really just kind of Bruce Springsteen in general. So this has been quite the treat. It reminds me a lot of what Neil Young's been doing for like the last decade or so, just putting out stuff from the vault. And here we have something pretty neat. I thought for like a listening experience. It's like broken up is sort of fun. It really gives you some snapshots of alternate, lenses of what could have been Nebraska, depending on things changed in the cutting room. For instance, the first disc, Nebraska Outtakes, is full of tracks of like Born in the USA, even. Literally starting off with the title track, Born in the USA, works quite well, set in the solo Nebraska fashion. Though I do think it probably would have been outshined by Atlantic City. I feel like they're in a very similar lane, and I think that really Atlantic City may have actually ended up outshining Born in the USA if they'd gone this route of both on the album, so I can see why he held off on that one. Losing Kind and Child Bride, I feel like are both different kind of versions, like Highway Patrol Man, though they're both great. Man, Losing Kind is like really good. I'm amazed that didn't make it, but again, I think it's so similar to Highway Patrol Man. That's why it didn't make it on the album. Downbound Train as a Nebraska song instead of Born in the USA. Again, very interesting. Pink Cadillac, similar thing. Definitely prefer the electric version, but it's interesting to hear it like this. Big Payback, good. Working on the Highway, again, I prefer the Born in the USA one, but it's really interesting to hear it as a Nebraska track. Glad he didn't go with it this way, but it's super interesting to hear. On the Prowl, that sounds like something, it's an outtake as it says on here. That's fine. It's not bad. It's enjoyable. And then Gun in Every Home, again, that could have just been on the album. It was fine. No notes to add there. Moving on to the second disc, we get Electric Nebraska, kind of a holy grail rumor sort of thing. And boy, how there it is. It's a little shorter than I would have liked, but that's okay. It mostly works. Again, I think the acoustic Nebraska is the right direction, but it's interesting to hear that Electric Nebraska, still pretty good. Title track, pushing a little bit what is electric, really just seems to add a bit of drums in. I think it works great in this version as well. Again, I don't know if any of these surpass the original, except for one that I'll get to at the end, but so I don't want to repeat myself every time, but the Nebraska for the electric version, great take. Atlantic City, I think, is worse. I don't think that's a better cut, though it is interesting to hear it as that. Mansion on the Hill works great. Johnny 99, I think, is very fun in the electric version. Downbound Train, very fast in the electric version. Slightly worse than Born in the USA version. Open All Night works great here. Again, that's one that's strangely already electric, so it's kind of interesting to hear a different take on that. Born in the USA, holy cow. You wouldn't think of the actual album track from Born in the USA not being electric, but hearing here is like a full band, the keyboard gone, and a guitar in its place. I love this take on Born in the USA. It would not have been the massive hit that it was as the album version, but I think this one is really good. And then Reason to Believe, I mentioned one before, I think is actually better. I think Reason to Believe might be the only one I think is actually better as the electric than the original Nebraska. I think it just hits harder in this format. I think he gets his point across just slightly better in this arrangement of the song. Feel free to disagree with that because it's probably controversial, but I think it actually works better as that. As we go through, it's got this great high gloss, booklet bound into the thing. High gloss, beautiful pictures, some great write-ups. It's got the lyrics to everything. LP3 is him live recently, a year or two ago, going through the whole album front to back, Nebraska. good listen to. You hear like kind of old man Bruce solo doing it. I think it's actually great. I was expecting not to like terribly like it, but I did enjoy it. And then the remaster. Strangely, I think the remaster itself, it's like too hot. I don't know exactly what's up with the mix. It sounds like too bright. I think it's just too sharp. It's not unlistenable or anything. Like the album itself is like quiet, like on like the wax. I think it's just too hot, maybe or something. I don't know. I prefer the one I already had out of the box set he did a few years ago than this 2025 remaster. But if you don't have one, you may not notice anything, and it may work great for you. On the whole, very pleased with this box set. I have been going back and forth to the outtakes and the electric version. Those will probably stay in heavy rotation. I'm a big fan of, artist released, demos or alternates when they do it. As I said, like the Neil Young ones have been great. This Bruce Springsteen Nebraska has been fantastic. I know he's been doing a bunch of kind of bigger box set archival things, but I hope he does some more of these focused ones to like albums, because it's always kind of fun to just sit down and listen to the creative process, as well as I said, like dreaming about what maybe could have been. As I said, I love regular Nebraska. Like this isn't a case of like, oh man, this could have been good, but it wasn't. No, this is just more, greatness on top of something already perfect. The cherry on top, if you will.